Yes, yes. Ooh, I'm a little snake boy. Yeah. It's Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. It's driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. Jackson, no time to break down what the Timberwolves have done this offseason. I won it today. Jim Dandy last night. I said to my wife and my boys, I said, here's the deal. And listen. And you listen good. Mm-hmm. At 5:40, I'm watching the Cardinals and Pirates. I want to see how they fare against Paul Skenes. You can watch with me. You can do something else. I don't care what you do, but this is what I'm going to do for the next 2.5 hours. And my 6-year-old came down and watched with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is lovely.
Got a chance to watch it a little one. And it's my kind of baseball game.
Right.
It's my kind of baseball game. I thought it was a hell of a game. It's a damn good win.
Yes, very good win for the Cardinals. It's my kind of game when there's really quality pitching out there, not bad offense, not guys like flailing guys.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Pitchers who are really good.
So like a getaway day, bunch of afternoon games, say in late July, with randos pitching, and it's a 2-1 game, and you get the sense guys want to get to the next city to meet up with their side pieces. All due respect.
Right. A lot different than like a Tuesday night game with...
So when you see a bunch of 2-1 games today.
Right. But like the likely Cy Young winner if it ended today, going up and throwing his best stuff and getting a loss, only giving up 2 runs. It goes to show you the Pirates need some offense badly.
Boy, does it ever. I'll tell you what, I feel like certainly Skenes throwing, 8 1/3 is what he wound up throwing. And the Cardinals pinning his first ever Major League loss on him. That's the headline. Mm-hmm. But the reason why the Cardinals won that game, I believe, is their defense. The Pirates had way more opportunities than the Cardinals did, but it was the Cardinal defense that won that game, from my standpoint. Base
running, certainly in the 8th there, or 9th, was a big help.
You're talking about Siani going to second.
Yeah.
But the Pirate, Lance Lynn was dancing with the devil all night. Yeah. Skenes had to walk out of that game and go, how the hell am I losing this?
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a demoralizing first loss to give up. Like, if you get blown up after a great stretch.
Thing.
Right.
Because the competition in the National League for Cy Young is Skenes, Sale, and Wheeler.
Yeah.
And Wheeler will occasionally, maybe 1 out of 8 or 9 starts, he'll have a blow-up. Yeah. And granted, Skenes is a super small sample size at this point. But he isn't a blow-up guy. I'm watching, and I'm like, okay, he hasn't given up a hit through 2 innings. I guess no hitters in play.
My dad texted me immediately. He goes, no hitter alert.
Yeah. It's just like it's in play. And I think it was a perfect game when Gorman got that infield hit.
Yeah.
Granted, it was the 3rd inning, so nobody was really. But I was like, yeah, he's got the stuff to do it. So to beat that guy. Weird thing is, I kind of feel like watching both those games in the first 2 of the series. I feel like the Cardinals probably should have won the one on Monday night and probably should have lost the one last night. In the end, it's where it, quote, should be, but they got that one. Had they lost it, you're sitting there going, boy, I wonder if they would have started Liberatore today if they would have lost both those. I don't know. I think Katie Wu and Derek Gould tweeted it out during the game.
I believe.
So it was not it was right after.
It was either during it or right after.
My point being, I don't know if there was a different plan, if they were down 0-2 in the series, like, okay, we got to try to salvage. You see what I'm saying?
So they throw Sonny out there because likely he's going to pitch Friday against the Nationals.
I wondered about that. Yeah. But either way, Liberatore today, Martin Perez going for the Pirates, a lefty. That can be problematic for the Cardinals and the right-handed hitting issues that the team has. But either way, worst case scenario is you lose 2 of 3. But there's a chance you win that series. And that is a team that certainly, I think Bernie Miklasz actually wrote this. I was reading his column on Scoops with Danny Mac, and he said he actually thinks the Pirates are the team that could challenge the Brewers more than the Cardinals in the division, but makes the same observation. I'm sure anybody who's been watching these games the last 2 nights or paying attention to the Pirates, that lineup is just really bad. It's not even like, well, that's an average lineup. And the thing about it is, whereas the Cardinals, I feel like, and maybe at this point we're just going on hope, but I feel like the Cardinals have names where it wouldn't surprise you if all of a sudden they started having some guys pop up and they can put up. There was a stretch here recently where they were scoring some runs.
Yeah.
If the Pirates all of a sudden started going off offensively, I would be really shocked.
Right. It would take guys who haven't been great their entire career,
Right.
having career stretches.
For the Cardinals to do it, it would be guys who have been great recently to get going. And
Right.
keep in mind, it was Nolan Arenado who hit the home run off of Skenes last night to give the Cardinals 50% of their runs. And then Burleson with that infield drawn in, just a rocket.
He's unbelievable.
Just a rocket.
Him and Wilson Contreras, like if they make contact,
Barrel.
they hit rockets. I mean, Burleson, what he's done. Last night was such like an interesting microcosm of the season to an extent. Like pretty decent starting pitching, kind of dancing with the devil, a lot of great defensive plays, and then clutch hitting from Alec Burleson, and the bullpen shuts it down.
Your thoughts on what took place last night in Pittsburgh? 314-399-9646. That is the Air Comfort Service text line. You can watch and participate in the chat. On the YouTube chat, which is the 101 ESPN YouTube channel, and the studio cameras on which we are viewed through, presented to you by Air Alliance team. Paul Skenes is single-handedly carrying the Pirates franchise. I would sell the Pirates for a lacrosse club if it was up to me. That's from Daniel Harrison. He's in the YouTube chat.
I would never sell the Pirates. Those uniforms deserve to be. The people of Pittsburgh deserve better with that uniform.
As I said, Jackson, I was watching the game last night with my 6-year-old, and he made an observation that is going to resonate with some in our audience, but certainly one person in this studio, and that being you.
Sweet.
He said, "Father,
Papa,
does every team who play in Pittsburgh wear black and yellow?"
Sup,
And I
Wiz?
said, "Oh, Wiz Khalifa,
Yeah,
2010.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you got the Penguins and Steelers and Pirates, yeah."
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, "I wonder if any other city has that." There is.
Seattle. All Seattle team have that kind of navy-ish and green.
They currently do.
Right. The Sonics
The Mariners were blue and yellow.
Yes. But I guess in the mid-'90s they changed over to the kind of...
And then you got the Kraken coming along. And did the Kraken, I'm asking you a hockey question with actual intent to get an answer, first time ever. Did the Kraken actually model their uniforms, their sweaters, in that color pattern?
Yeah, I would assume. I mean, the Seahawks...
So when Seattle gets an NBA team, and I don't think it's an if, I think it's a when, do you think they're going to go with the...
No, I think they go classic Sonics.
They'll go green and orange?
Yeah, or green and yellow. Yeah.
Green and yellow, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the Seahawks kind of stray from it with the neon, but it's still like the same idea, the navy and teal. So Seattle's got it going on. But if the Sonics return, I would assume they'll go classic green and yellow. Because that jersey's still super popular, like a Ray Allen or even a Kevin Durant for his 1 year.
Sup, Shuttlesworth. Sup, Tim. Jackson, also very popular, this TMA hat that I'm wearing, and the show will celebrate its 20th anniversary. 20 years of TMA.
Hell yeah.
You were 6 years old when the show started.
Yep, 6 years young.
July 26th, 2004. The Cardinals were in the midst of a wonderful run, and the Rams would be a playoff team that year. Kind of a ham and egg playoff team, but nonetheless a playoff team.
Second to last playoff team for him?
In St. Louis?
Yeah, or was it 05? 05 is the last, 04 the...
I thought 04.
Okay.
Am I off on that?
I thought 05 was the last playoff team.
Thought they were 8-8 in 04.
That could be the case.
And they beat Seattle, and then they lost to Michael Vick and the Falcons, and I was at that game at the Georgia Dome. May it rest in peace. And he ran wild.
Yeah, he was a cheat code back then.
It was a cheat code. So these TMA hats, we're doing for if you're watching on YouTube, TMASTLshop.com, we just unveiled them, and everything is 20% off at TMASTLshop.com. That includes the hats, the T-shirts, the hoodies, 20% off. You don't need a promo code. It's the 20th anniversary of TMA. Balloon Party is celebrating its 2-year, 7-month anniversary.
2 year.
7 month.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it feels great. Every day is like a anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It feels like a little gala every time we walk in here.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you have St. Louis legends like Randy and Danny Mac and Brooks saying, "Oh, hello, fellas," and we just say, "Oh, hello, everybody," and we just come on here and just
what a
break
peek
it down.
behind the curtain that was.
It's actually really how it goes.
John Gray says it's been 20 years of bliss. I guess. Well, here's what I did on TMA today. I felt like you to me are Shohei Ohtani on 101 ESPN. You can do it all.
Yeah. Yep.
But I just felt like yesterday maybe it was like, okay, I think he's the best, but maybe he needs a day off.
It's still, even on a day off, though, getting working, throwing the bullpen. Still
But
got to
this
throw
is a
bullpen.
show that's way more than getting work in.
Yeah.
This is an hour.
That's right.
We got to optimize the hour. So I said to the TMA audience, I said, all right, $50 to somebody who sends a question that leads to a deep dive. And I got a wonderful choice.
Sweet.
So somebody's about to win $50. It's going to go to their Venmo. We will have the deep dive coming up. Cardinals and Pirates will give you the lineup for the day game in Pittsburgh with Matthew Liberatore getting the start against Martin Perez in Pittsburgh, as these two teams that are both going to be in the mix for the playoffs are doing battle in Pittsburgh for a businessman special.
Yeah, 11:35.
11:35. How do you
Outstanding.
do? There you go. All right, that is coming your way next. This is Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Welcome back. It's Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. We have 1 hour each day to try to optimize, and Jackson dances around over in his chair, and right now he's kind of bouncing and head bobbing, I would say. I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, I just like the tune. You know, I people don't know this about me, but I really get moved by the rhythm. I love to dance. One of my favorite things.
Huh. Well, you haven't played a lot of pots, but I noticed you kind of sat back after you put your chips in.
Oh, I really love to dance.
I'm going to call.
All right, I'm going to a wedding early August in Chicago, and I plan on doing a lot of dancing. Oh, boy.
So now, post flop. Board came up blanks. There's a jack out there. But, all right, I'm going to call.
Yes, you're wrong. I love to dance. You're going to have to, I'm going to take your chips. I'm licking the Oreo.
Okay, that's a five of spades.
I'm not licking the Oreo.
Rainbow board. I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold. I think he's got aces or kings. I don't know. I have tens. I
won't flip my cards.
Interesting.
Is that a thing people don't like? Do they not flip their cards when
Depends.
Okay.
If they just bluff somebody off a pot,
right,
they will try to tilt them, i.e., make them mad by showing the cards. And it's kind of a way to dunk on them.
Yeah, it's kind of reverse of what I would think.
Yeah, and also let them know whenever I want to, I've got a read on you, and I will outplay you. I own your soul.
I like that.
Just so you know. All right, Jackson, first segment, all about the Cardinals and last night's game. I loved that game. I'm curious, did people like that game, or do people prefer like a 10-8 thing? It's certainly an eye of the beholder. You know, some women like tall, dark, and handsome. Other like short, bald, and lopsided. And it's just, again, it's an eye of the beholder thing. Personally, give me a 2-1 game. But as you said in the first segment, when it's 2-1 with a guy in Paul Skenes, who you're going, this guy might be in Cooperstown in 20 years, it's fun to see the Cardinals not only compete against him, but then beat him and pin the first loss of his career on him.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. I always talk about that series the Cardinals had 20 years plus ago with the Diamondbacks. They had Schilling and Johnson, and the Cardinals had Matt Morris, who was firing on all cylinders at that time, Woody Williams, Darryl Kyle, Bud Smith. And it was just a low scoring. I love that kind of baseball. The series with the Phillies 10 years later, Halladay, Carpenter, I like that kind of stuff. 10-9, 10-8 doesn't do it for me. So I enjoyed watching the game, and it certainly was a big win. But I know some people just are kind of bored by that style. As far as today's lineup for the Cardinals, have you seen it?
I have not.
Guess the lineup. We don't get a chance to do it too often.
I know, this is fun.
Show.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
All right, lefty on the mound. Mason Wynn.
That's correct.
All right.
We know we're going to give you that he's playing shortstop, but I'd like the positions if you could.
Yeah,
please.
yeah, no doubt.
This is not. We're just not going to name names and guess. We're going to know the positions.
Alec Burleson, and he's playing right field.
Wow, 2 for 2. Could Jackson send a message to the audience that he means business?
Wilson Contreras, and he's catching.
No, I'm sorry. Wilson Contreras is batting third, but he's not your catcher.
He's DHing, which means Arenado will be hitting fourth.
That's correct.
He's playing third base.
Okay.
I call it third sack.
It's great. So creative.
Thank you. Hitting fifth will be Nolan Gorman.
No, I'm sorry.
Hitting fifth will be Paul Goldschmidt playing first.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Whew. Hitting sixth will be Nolan Gorman. He plays second base.
No, I'm sorry.
Giving him an off day? Who do they even have to play second? Brendan Donovan will be hitting sixth and playing second base. Playing second?
That's correct.
All right. That frees me up a little bit here. They'll probably put Carlson hitting seventh and playing left.
No, I'm sorry. You had the name, but you had the wrong position.
He'll be playing center field.
Wow, what a moment.
Well, I didn't get a reaction.
The blue line discussion yesterday.
I didn't get a reaction from you.
Well, I mean, I've sat with the best in the world, dear. I don't give off reads.
Fair. Okay. Center field, what's his name? Carlson?
Right.
Okay. Dylan Carlos. I got 7. Oh, man. Hitting 8th will be Pedro Pajas, and he will be Pajes, I'm sorry, and he'll be catching.
Pete Page is no.
Okay, so he's 9th in catching. So that leaves an 8-hole hitter. Marp, Matt Carpenter. No, why would they pitch him against the left-handed Jackson? You
I've got
idiot.
5 seconds that I can allot for this nonsense, and then we have to move on.
Rats. Newt Bar playing left field.
Yes!
And then Pedro Pajas. Damn it. Why can't I get on the first time ever?
Please
Catching,
don't
play
curse. My kids are in the car. Thanks.
I'm proud of myself there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, you got about a third of it right.
Not well. Got to get position and batting order here. And it's against the lefty. That really throws a wrench into
I think the
things.
Carlson center field thing, it was just a domino effect for you.
Yeah. Well, they don't really have a lot of guys who hit from the right-hand
And then
side.
Donovan and no Gorman. But, I mean, you got to think, hey, are we thinking out there? Got lefty?
Yeah.
So they're going to give him the day.
I respect it. But they just don't have a lot of guys to, give them much relief.
Liberatore on the mound. That's the Cardinals and Pirates, and that game is 1 hour and 10 minutes from starting. All right, I want to get this. This is the deep dive. This is the winner. He goes by the Springfield Mud Tosser. So Springfield Mud Tosser, email me, tmckernan at InsideSTL.com, your Venmo, because $50 is coming your way. All right?
Yep.
And I want to ask the question, and then I also want the audience then to give their response to the question, and it's a twofold question. And, of course, I want your response on this.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to everybody.
Nice. Do you think you could get emotional about a sporting event again? With the Blues winning the Stanley Cup as the last grind as a fan, could you become emotional about a sporting event again? And if yes, what would it be and why? If not, what do you think emotionally shifted for you to not get into a spot where you would be emotional any longer? Then the Springfield Mud Tosser gives his reasoning. For me, it was COVID. I didn't miss watching Cardinal games, and it wasn't a need in my life. I love soccer, and I'm still emotionally invested in that. But baseball, I just can't get into now. Best, that's from the Springfield Mud Tosser. So his example was baseball, and I guess what he was saying is once the Blues won the Stanley Cup for him, that was his last frontier. I have a few, actually, I would say more than 2, that I think, I don't know if it would be emotional per se, but it might be. Might actually have 4 that I will list on the other side of the commercial break. Yeah, it's tease season around here.
God.
Always late July is always tease season. I always just get better working at it.
Sweet.
And I'd be curious where people come down on that. So think about it. Think about what it is, sports-wise, that could still make you emotional. What would it be? And if the answer is it's not, why do you think that is the case? Now, some people may say, I've seen the Cardinals win World Series. Maybe was around to see the Rams win a Super Bowl and liked them. Might be an Illinois fan. Saw them get to the Final Four. And of course, saw the Blues win the Stanley Cup 5 years ago. I'm good. Or I didn't get emotional in 82 or in 2006, 2011 or in January 2000 when the Rams won the Super Bowl or June 2019. It's just not what I do. That might be the case. Hey, listen, there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. Everything's going to be fine. But I'd be curious what people's answers are, and I will give you mine. Are you loading one up?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
I mean, Missouri Final Four is you'll probably look, like you'd be a mess.
Yeah.
Like me walking out of Rudy.
Yes, for a number of reasons.
Okay. But I'm sure you've got others as well.
Yeah.
You're in tune with, you give off baby girl energy, you say?
Yeah, big time.
So I'm sure you'll be comfortable giving your emotions. 314-399-9646. Text them in or the YouTube chat, 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett. The program's called Balloon Party. It's 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota is the presenting sponsor of Balloon Party. It's also the place where I go, my family goes to get our cars, whether it be a new car or a pre-owned vehicle. I want to work with Jamie Burkhardt and Peter Munganess, and so we go to stlouisacura.com, we go to altontoyota.com, and we work with Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. If you are in the market for a new car, how about this deal? Jamie Burkhardt texted me to say, give to the TMA audience and give it to the Balloon Party audience. Here's what you got. No money down. $589 a month. Brand new 2024 Acura MDX Premium. How about that? That's a 48-month lease with Munganess. stlouisacura.com. And Munganess Burkhardt, altontoyota.com. stlouisacura.com, altontoyota.com. And if you have a question you'd like to text or call and talk it over with them, they give out a number specific for the audience, and that number is the following, 314-252-0029. It's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota.
Hey, this is Action Jackson, and this is a Sports Center update. It's brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals win last night 2-1 over the Pittsburgh Pirates, handing Paul Skenes his first major league loss. They will try to win the rubber match today, 11:35 first pitch. Matthew Liberatore on the mound for the Cardinals. In some NBA offseason news, Andrew Nembhard agrees to a 3-year, $59 million extension with the Indiana Pacers. That was our SportsCenter update brought to you by Soliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back. Balloon Party 101 ESPN show presented to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. You can watch and participate in the chat on the YouTube channel. That's 101 ESPN's YouTube channel. And Doug, they're in there. Doug, Jackson,
I'm
Bill,
Doug.
the cat, Martin,
Dovon.
Charlie, they're in there.
Stedman.
Jackson, this email, which was sent in by a gentleman going by the name the Springfield Mud Tosser, has gotten the people going.
Yep.
And I tip my cap because it was a good question. And I got a lot of good questions, but today I can only afford to pay one guy. And I just Venmoed him $50. So you submit, question, we use it, you get paid.
Yep.
And I want to always make sure I'm paying debts. All right, here we go. Here's the question. And I'm going to read some of the response. Well, I want to hear your response. I'll give my response, and then I'll read some of the responses in the Air Comfort Service text line. If you're just joining us, you can participate, 314-399-9646. And then the YouTube chat, 101 ESPN. Morning, do you think you could get emotional about a sporting event again? With the Blues winning the Stanley Cup as the last grind as a fan, could you become emotional about a sporting event again? If yes, what would it be and why? If not, what do you think emotionally shifted your view on sports? For me, it was COVID. I didn't miss watching Cardinal games, and it wasn't a need in my life any longer. I love soccer, and I'm still emotionally invested in that, but baseball, I just can't get into it now. Best, that's from the Springfield Mud Tosser. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Burkett is about to answer these questions.
Absolutely, yes. I don't think that comes to a surprise to many
Baby
people.
girl energy is what they call you.
Mainly Mizzou football and basketball, but Cardinal baseball for sure as well. That in playoff Cardinal baseball gets me very emotionally ensconced.
I mean, I'm an educated man, but I can't follow some of these words that you use.
Well, velvet. You want to ensconce yourself in velvet. You want to wear an all-velvet suit.
I have one suit, and it was given to me when I was 14, and it still fits.
A real wingdinger. Actually, you need to take it in a little.
I actually might.
Yes, absolutely. If I had to guess the root cause of it, probably unrealized potential in my own athletic career. But,
wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're going to be honest, I think not.
Like you could have been in the association right now.
No,
did you beat Jason Tatum?
I was on the team
It's
that
a yes or no question.
Did I, Jackson Ben Burkett, beat Jason Tatum? No. Was I on a team that did? Yes.
Interesting. Sounds like you think you're better than him.
It's an interesting way to look at it. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us, and I'm saying us as in us in the studio and in the audience, probably wishes that they could have done more with their athletic career. And I think that plays part of a role in our emotional attachment to sports.
That's interesting. I have honestly never looked at it that way.
I mean, don't we all dream of being the one who is David Freese, who hits the walk-off home run?
I was the size of a sperm until first grade, so I was pretty well aware I wasn't going to be playing in anything. However, I was convinced I was going to play for the Cardinals in high school.
Right, because it doesn't matter how big your frame is.
Growth spurt up to 5 feet.
Our hearts are still the same size unless you have a medical issue. And if that's the case, go see a cardiologist. But I'm telling you that.
I would edit that out.
I wouldn't have. I think that people out there really love to play sports and they want to be great, but so few, 0.0001% get the opportunity to do so. And when I say get the opportunity, work as hard as they can for the opportunity, but a lot of it's luck. And the genetic pool especially. So I think a lot of the reason why I'm so emotionally attached to Mizzou basketball, Mizzou football, whatever it might be, is probably the root cause would be unrealized potential.
It's interesting. God, I don't think of it that way, but maybe you're right. I don't know. Yes, I think so. Now, I didn't shed tears, and if I did, I would tell you. Mm-hmm. I didn't shed tears when the Blues won the Stanley Cup, but when the Blues won the Cup, I wasn't in Boston. It was just me, and I guess our older son was born, but he was in bed. That doesn't seem possible, but I guess he was. And my wife took a picture, and when Petrangelo lifted up the cup, she took a picture of me, and I was standing in front of the TV, and I got up close to the TV. And I had, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, essentially it's what you would do when you go through security at the airport.
Yeah.
And you got to put your hands behind your, and I was putting in what that, in a normal setting, you'd be like, okay, well, he's stretching, who gives a damn? But you can see Pietrangelo lifting the cup. And I think what that body language was, I can't believe I'm seeing somebody in a blue sweater lifting the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, pinch me moment.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I would consider that emotional. It wasn't like tears, but it was emotional. And I remember even Game 6 of the 2011 World Series, and I think this happened when Mike Jones made the tackle, actually. So I guess this is my go-to play. I fell to the floor of my place where we lived in downtown St. Louis in 2011, not only after Freese's triple, but then after the home run. And I remember going, I just don't know if I'll ever see a better baseball game than that. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's the mountaintop. And I got to experience it. And it was my team, you know, and now I get to go to Game 7, and I'm going to take my wife and my parents. Just the great fortune and gratitude of that moment. As far as what could get me emotional now, it would have to be Missouri football. You know, I mean, and I say this, and I don't really say it proudly. It's just the truth. I was really down mood-wise after the LSU loss last year. I wasn't like running around drinking whiskey and screaming at the family, you know, to the point that the wife had to go to her parents' house. What happened with your husband? Well, he's drunk again because Missouri lost, and he's yelling, breaking glass, posting on Tiger Board.
Yeah. Serial posting.
But I actually, at 46 years old, excused myself to go upstairs and like sit in our bed
and stew.
And I just needed to be away.
Yeah,
and probably watched Gabe's post-game show. I was the Georgia game, for whatever reason, I was more at peace with.
Right.
But in the Georgia game, probably ended their national championship hopes. Realistically, the LSU one didn't. But I was more at peace with the LSU one. I think it's because I'm like, they should have won this.
They played so well in the first half. In the first half,
absolutely. I agree with you there. So it shows that that's there, and I love that.
Yeah, me too, man.
I guess I would for Missouri basketball. I think I might be more happy for you, actually.
That's nice.
Because it just doesn't have the same thing for me now as football did. I also think, and this is kind of not fair, but I'm sure a number of people in the audience can relate to it. I think this is the way that it will go whenever my kids are old enough to get emotionally attached.
Yeah.
So whatever team it is that would win, that would really make them happy, that's not fair because now I'm bringing in an outside circumstance. I don't think I'd get emotional, but my second favorite win of 2019 was Tiger Woods winning the Masters.
Yeah.
So along those lines, if that were to take place, I don't really know how likely that is at this point, and I don't know if there's another golfer
I don't think
where that could happen. But I guess if there was some kind of incredible story,
sure.
You know, Rich Gould, the great Rich Gould, told me when I interviewed him on my podcast that he only cried 2 times. The first one was when he found out that he wasn't going to have a son, and he had 2 girls. And the second time was when Tom Watson lost in a playoff to Stuart Sink in the 2009 British Open.
How many of us have the same story?
Amen. So I don't know what golfer could put me in that spot. I mean, hey, man, how many people were hockey fans in 1980?
Right.
But I bet there were people who were really inspired by that who couldn't have named a player on the team. And I think that's Al Michaels' intro, actually. Mm-hmm. There are many people in the audience tonight who couldn't identify, like you yesterday, the blue line.
Mm-hmm. Still can't.
Or would tell you what icing is.
Still can't.
But they are watching tonight, albeit on tape delay, from Lake Placid for this game against the Soviet Union. So it would be incredible if something like that were to take place. I don't know. I mean, if that could happen here over the next few weeks in Paris, I'd be surprised. I'm just not really there, you know, with the Olympics. But I don't know. Maybe that would happen. Listen, I want to be made emotional.
Mm-hmm. That's the best.
I want to be made emotional. Yeah, I just don't, I don't know, because like I saw this a couple of texts, and I'll read the text in the YouTube chat here coming up. But once the Blues won the Stanley Cup, it's going to be very tough for it to be better than the first one, especially for a franchise that had never won, and also its age of 50 years was 50 years and change was perfect for what I would imagine, and this wasn't the case for me, but I would imagine a number of you immediately will go, yep, that was it. You were thinking about your parents who are no longer around but love the Blues, grandparents no longer around but loved the Blues, and it became kind of a moment of closure. And so you're thinking of what I think is the bigger thing that leads to emotion in sports, and it's not unfulfilled potential. But again, I'm not on the air telling people I'm better than Jason Tatum. It would be your love for a team is tied to the way you were raised by a parent or grandparent who gave you that love of that team. And also oftentimes, and there's an overlap, that's where you grew up. And so it's a source of pride. There are plenty of people who are Ole Miss fans who didn't go to school in Oxford, or they're Razorback fans who didn't go to school in Fayetteville. Right. But they identify that's their state pride, know?
Oh, yeah, a lot of that.
So that, much less if you're a Cardinal fan and you grew up in St. Louis, or you're a Blues fan and you grew up in St. Louis. All right, I'm going into the text inbox and the YouTube chat for the Springfield Mud Tossers answers. So, yeah, I still could be made emotional. I wonder if we have some people say I couldn't be made emotional. This guy said he couldn't because he isn't in baseball anymore. But, obviously, there are other sports. That's just the direction that he took. I'll read those coming up on the other side of the break. Looking forward to reading them. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Welcome back, 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. Jackson, a wonderful question asked by a listener for a deep dive today. Can you still get emotional about a sporting event? If so, what would it be? And if not, why do you think that's the reason? Air Comfort Service text line has been lighting up. And I'm going to read them. Let's see. I was 10 when the Cardinals won their first championship in my life, so I hope they can win one soon in my son's life. That is from the 314, from the 618, literally just in seconds ago. The Blues win was the most emotional by far. My father had been one of the biggest fans since their inception. He was dying of cancer, and that was all he was wishing to see before he died. He saw we got our picture with the cup. He passed in early 2021, and he was buried in his Blues jerseys. See what we got. Timmy, for me, it would be if I was thinking about this, actually. This is a good play from the 618. Timmy, for me, it would be if St. Louis got an NFL team back and won a Super Bowl.
Definitely.
It's a nice play.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the times where I was really emotional, was when it wasn't even when the Rams left. It was that first week of the NFL when we didn't have the Rams.
Really?
Yeah,
so 2016.
Because I was my freshman year of college, was still a little homesick, and, you know, the idea like that I couldn't watch my hometown team. My favorite thing to watch was Rams football back then, and, you know, watching those games with my brother and my dad, not being able to watch the games with them because I was in Florida, but knowing that I'll never be able to watch that again with my brother and father. That really sucked.
Let's see. The first time I ever listened to one of your podcasts, you guys found out Missouri got the morning nationally televised game instead of the night game, and you guys whined, bitched, cussed, and cried, and I loved every second of it. That's from the 217. Yeah, I guess that can get me emotional in that way.
Yep.
That stuff is over,
yep.
And I am so grateful that the SEC's new TV deal, you know the time frame. That, I'm telling you, LSU being at 11 o'clock, if it's a night game, Missouri wins the game. As asinine as it sounds,
I'm with you.
by the way. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Tim, when the Blues won the Cup, we went to the cemetery, and there must have been 100 people there. Wow. How about that?
That's incredible.
And as I read it, it kind of doesn't surprise me, but it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, very much so.
Wow. Tiger Woods 2019 Masters win. I definitely cried. That's from the 217. Indiana basketball, having been too young to realize what it was in the history with Bobby Knight and everything, I had no idea until I got there for college what that all meant. For me now, it's not really teams as much in St. Louis outside of IU basketball. It's more like players with historically significant careers that win a title late in their career to finally seal their legacy. The lack of an emotional attachment for me, I think, relates to gambling on sports being legal. It's hard to be emotional for me now without some kind of action on the game. That's from the 618. Let's see. I think the emotion comes from childhood nostalgia, remembering watching games with your dad, etc. That's from the 314.
Big part of it.
I'm a huge football fan, was a Giants fan in the late 80s. When the Rams got here, I was a fanatic, and when they left, I went back to my Giants. I went to all 5 Battlehawks games, and if they win a championship, I will cry. That is from the 314. Let's see. Jackson likely will cry the first time he attends an NBA All-Star game. And based on that, perhaps he would get emotional first time post-coitus. That's from the 6-3. You know, Jackson, I didn't see that coming on 101. On TMA, I expect it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy. Nice. Sick text.
Are we going to give him some tickets or anything?
No. I'm getting nothing.
Let's see. Mizzou National Championship makes tears roll. It's from the 314.
Either sport, baby. Just give it to me. I want to reach the mountaintop one time.
I mean, can you imagine? You are looking live at Faurot Field as the Missouri Tigers host the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on a beautiful, crisp December afternoon for the right to advance to the Elite Eight in college football's first ever 12-team playoff. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Columbia, Missouri.
That's all I want.
That's all you want.
That's all I want. Just give us a shot. Just give us a shot.
Yeah, the Mizzou answer is certainly the one that's coming in.
The one team that hasn't reached the mountaintop.
Let's see.
Illinois.
Stick your NBA update up your gerbil wazoo. That's from the 314. Was there an NBA update?
Hey, Andrew Nemhard clearing $60 million on a 3-year deal. Jeez. Boy. Charles Barkley said it best. He said, if I was born these days, I'd go to games in a spaceship.
The Blues run in 2019 was awesome, but I would trade it in a heartbeat for a Billiken Final Four appearance. Taste Me Bluesers. That's from Kwame Voyoukas IV. I guess he's related to former Billiken Ian Voyoukas.
Don't you rebuke us.
That's right. Rory winning his 5th major, Missouri football championship, Missouri basketball Final Four. That's from the 314. If Mizzou was to win the SEC championship or even a national championship, it'd make me emotional. They've been so close for so long, and I'm more invested in my university. That's from the 314.
I'm with it.
Let's see. If the U.S. can bring home the gold in the javelin throw, I may just crawl into the fetal position. 314. Outstanding. Tickets for him as well. And this, my wife's boyfriend plays beer league slow pitch softball, and I cried when his team won the championship last year. That's
nice.
in the YouTube chat.
Hey, listen, you got to find it where you can have it. You wear your emotions on your sleeve.
Yeah, I guess we don't want to shame that.
Never.
But congratulations to his beer softball team and MD 2020's wife's boyfriend. Time for us to go. BK and Ferrari are up next. For Jackson Bennett, Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency is my insurance agent. I recommend he become yours as well. He's online at carltoninsurance.net, and he's with us right now. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Tim. You know, I don't know if the Blues will ever be topped. And I'm the biggest Tiger fan I know, right?
You are.
But the difference is that's 2 months, every other night of just insane intensity. And I just don't know if that can ever be topped because that felt like a 12-round fight after that 2 months, and then albeit it's their first one in franchise history. Whew, that gets me emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah,
but I want to get the
26
listeners
games in
emotional.
2.5 months, and
my
the intense
God.
ride.
I want to get the listeners emotional about savings on car, home, and life insurance. So if you've seen any rising rates, if you've had a poor claim experience, any issues at all, it takes 5 minutes or less to get a quote. Go online at carltoninsurance.net or call or text 314-961-4800.
There it is, James Carlton, online at carltoninsurance.net.